Hello everybody, welcome to episode number 104 of the Driftless Knitting podcast. My name is Jennifer. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter. You can also find the podcast on Ravelry. We do have a Ravelry group, but we're not very active on there right now. You can also find my knitwear designs on my Ravelry, oh boy. You can also find it on my PayHip account. I have a link to my PayHip account on Instagram, my Instagram profile. And you can also find the designs, some of my designs, not all of them, on knitcircus.com. They have a tab at the top that says pattern download or download patterns, something like that. And you just click that and there's a few of mine up on there as well. I am so happy to be back. It's been such a long time. Last time I recorded was in January and it is now Saturday, March 6th. It is 7:45 at night, 7:48 technically, if we want to split hairs. And I am recording on a whim because I found myself with the apartment to myself. My son, my 6-month-old son, is in bed already and asleep, which is why I keep looking down because that's where the baby monitor is. And his room is like right behind me. So I'm really hoping that he can't really hear me. I'm finding that he sleeps pretty hard at night, which is really great. And during the day though, I have to be quieter because he sleeps lighter and he will wake up. So anyway, I thought I would record. My husband is at his parents' house tonight. We are joining them tomorrow at the farm. Those of you who have watched the podcast for a while, you know that we often go to his parents' farm, which is not too far away. It's like 45 minutes from here, which is a very easy drive. We are going there tomorrow and very excited to get back there. I think, did we go last weekend for the day? I think so. But yeah, that should be fun. And Hudson and I are just hanging out here at home. He went to bed early tonight, which is a blessing and a curse. I get more time in the evening by myself to do things like this, but he will also probably wake up earlier than he should, which lately he's been wanting to wake up between 4 and 5 o'clock most mornings, which gets to be really hard when you are up since 4 o'clock. The day gets to be very long, but I can't complain because he has been sleeping through the night most nights, and I'm gonna just knock on wood right there so that I don't jinx myself or jinx him, I suppose. So yeah, I really quickly gathered everything that I've been wanting to talk to you about for so long, and I'm sitting here on the couch. I'm really hoping this goes smoothly, but please bear with me because I feel like I'm so out of practice. I tried doing the opening of this podcast 4 times. This is my 4th try. I was just rambling, or I stumbled over my words, or it just, sometimes you just try and say something and it doesn't come out right. And that happened quite a few times. So it seems like this one is better. So we're gonna roll with it and we're gonna start talking knitting. As you guys know, I do have a little baby. He's almost 6 months old, which is crazy. I can't believe he's that big already. It's just crazy. So I don't get a whole lot of knitting done. I'm getting more now that he goes to bed earlier. He sleeps in his own room, and we are getting more sleep at night, so I can stay up, an hour or so after he goes to bed and work a little bit on my projects. And then weekends now he naps in his room again, so I have free time to move around and do things for myself. So on weekends when he naps, I'm pretty much knitting. During the week when he naps, I work. So I don't get to knit then, but that's okay. I am just grateful for more time, you know, as he gets older, I'm just getting more and more free time to craft again, which is, oh, it's so nice. It's so nice. When he was really, really little and there was just so much going on, I was so tired all the time. I didn't really feel like myself because I wasn't able to get a whole lot of knitting done, but I'm still tired. Not as tired, but yeah, the knitting helps. So the first thing I will show you is, let's start with some finished objects because I do have a couple of finished objects. I'm very happy. I have had these finished for quite a while, but I haven't worn them yet because I wanted them to look perfect. And I really want to yawn. I'm sorry, I was like trying so hard to hold that in. That was a big one. Okay, so here we are. These were my Christmas Eve cast on socks 2020. I finished them probably mid-January, I think, end of January, and I absolutely love them. They are knit with a yarn from Sassy Songstress. I do believe that she is still dyeing yarn. She's still on Instagram as Sassy Songstress, so if you want to check her out. She is fairly local to me. I've met her once because she dropped off yarn for a trunk show, which is where I got this skein. And yeah, she has some beautiful yarns. These are out of, I think it's an 80/20 superwash merino and nylon. There's a hair on that one. And this colorway is called Christmas is Coming. Yes, I was gonna say Waiting for Christmas, and I'm like, that is not correct. So Christmas is Coming. It's kind of got a yellowish creamy base, and then on top of it speckles of red and different shades of green and like a darker creamy tan color. I absolutely loved knitting with this yarn. It's beautiful. I loved how there wasn't really, I mean, you can see a little bit of like a regular sort of flash, you know, in the color, but it wasn't too like stripy or anything or pooling. I don't mind that so much. I mind pooling more than I mind striping, I think. I like it when you're knitting and you come to a section of the yarn unexpectedly, it has a couple pops of color, and then you knit a while longer and then you get a couple more pops of color. And sometimes when it's too, unless you're trying to knit with self-striping yarn, if the color area is too like predictable, I don't know, to me that can sometimes be a little boring. If it's like speckle, if it's stripe, like I said, or gradient, you know, some of Knit Circus's gradients that I've used, obviously you expect them all to be, you know, blocks of color or something like that, but if you've got these like fun speckles on there, I kind of want it to be like confetti, like just random, and I love it when it works out that way. So I did them toe up on a size US 1 needle. I always use my Addy 40-inch circular. It's the rocket, the sock rocket. That's my favorite sock needle. I have tried, I've tried a few. I've tried the Chow-Gu lace needles. Those are okay. I don't like the cable as much. I've tried Signature. I actually don't like how flexible the cable of the Signature needle is for Magic Loop. I can't feed it. If you've knit with Magic Loop before, you kind of feed the stitches back through the cable onto the needle again, and it's too floppy. It doesn't go quickly enough. And I've tried carbons, Knitter's Pride carbons. Those are okay. I don't know, for me, the Addies have been the best, and that's my go-to. I'm actually wearing down the finish on them. I might need to get a second pair soon. It's not getting sticky or anything, but they're the silvery nickel, or I guess is like wearing down. You can see the like a brass color underneath. I've had them for a while. But yeah, I knit them toe up like I said on magic loop. I did a fish lips kiss heel. You can see that, and I just sort of did a like pearl bump texture. I was going to do the Hermione's every day, but I couldn't remember the exact pattern and I didn't feel like looking it up at the time. I could have. I think it's a free pattern. I could have just brought it up on my phone, but I was being lazy. So I just did the math for the stitches, like where to put the pearl bumps, and then I offset them on, I think I knit like 2 rows in between and then offset the pearl bumps. And it turned out amazing. I love them so much. So yeah, that was one of the first, that was the first finished object that I had in 2021. I obviously didn't start them in 2021, but it felt really good to get them off my needles. Anytime I have a finished object right now is amazing. So that leads me to my second finished object, which I actually just cast off today. So Knit Circus, which is where I work, Knit Circus Yarns is doing a Ringmaster knit along. Right now, Ringmaster is our 100% superwash merino worsted weight, and we thought it'd be fun to do a knit along using this base because you can knit things up really quickly. It's really squishy, really warm, a beautiful soft yarn, and we just really love knitting with it. And since it's almost spring, we know that some people don't really get to wear, in whatever climate you're in, your time for hand knits is almost over. For us, we're gonna have winter for another, or at least chilly weather for another couple months. But for some people, it's gonna be over soon. So we thought quick projects using worsted weight would be the way to go. So I am co-hosting that with my co-worker Michelette, and we do Zoom meetings every Saturday and Wednesday evenings. I run the Wednesday evening one from 5 to 6:30 Central Time. If you are interested in joining, just let me know. If you don't get the Knit Circus newsletter, you can always direct message me on Instagram. That would probably be the best place. I don't always see YouTube comments right away, and I can send you information on the knit along, or you can go to our Knit Circus's Ravelry group, and there's a thread for the knit along. So anyway, I was working on a project for that, and I actually finished it today. So this is a pair of World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits. And this is an awesome pattern because they give you directions for fingering, DK, worsted, and chunky. And they give you, in all of those different weights, they also give you toddler, child, adult small, adult medium, adult large. So 4 weights, right? 4 weights, yes. And at least 5, I think about 5 sizes within those 4, like, yeah. Anyway, I will put these on. So I did the adult medium, and they fit me perfectly. I followed the pattern completely. This is using our Frozen in Time speckle, and they are so warm and squishy. I love how long the cuff is. I actually have a pair of these that I knit out of a discontinued color of Ringmaster, and that's why I knit this pair to be a sample for Knit Circus, because that other pair, the colorway, we don't make anymore. And I now have those here at home that I can wear whenever I want. and these will go to be photographed for our website, and then also eventually when our store opens back up, there'll be a sample there. We are thinking about when we will open again. We're not sure what that's gonna look like. We're not sure when. It'll probably be later on this year, but at least we are talking about it, and it's very exciting. So if you are local, if you're not local and you want to take a trip and visit Knit Circus, our store should be open again someday. That's very vague, and I apologize. But we just kind of admitted the fact that, like, we will be able to open again, probably this year. So that is one step in the right direction. Like I said, I'm not sure what it's gonna look like. I'm not sure what our protocols are gonna be, even with the vaccinations going on. We're still probably gonna be cautious, but I'll let you guys know. So this project that I'm gonna show you is so close to being an FO, I can't even stand it. You will have seen this a few times, and if you watched my Vlogmas, which I did again this year, you will have seen this a lot. It is in my Cottage number 9 bag. I absolutely adore this bag. It has, I don't know why that is being funny. Hold on. There we go. It has these drawstrings that turn into kind of a handled bag like that, and I think that is so clever. Ooh, jeez. So yeah, super cute. I love that. And this is my 2020 Advent. Look how look how big that is. Oh my word. I am on the last color. The last color. Oh my gosh. So this is the Bumblebee Acres Farm Advent calendar. I got their Jane Austen Advent this year on their butter sock, which is 70% merino, 20% silk, 10% cashmere. Let me tell you, this feels so good to knit with. I can't even stand it. It's the first time I've ever knit with their bubble, not bubble. They have another one called Bubble Sock, which I have knit with. This is butter sock. So yeah, I have to keep that straight. So this is the first time I've ever knit with butter sock. It is so luxurious. It's amazing. I love it so much, and I've had such a fun time knitting this. This is the Hygge and Hearth cowl by Sam Troya, who is one of the bees, Sam B. You knit this flat and then join it together and make it into a loop. However, I'm unsure if I'm going to join it because I kind of have a thing going with the last few Advents that I have. So I got their Harry Potter Advent 3 Decembers ago, and that is, I did the Mountain of Minis wrap, which is kind of like for me, it's just like a thicker scarf. I like double it up and kind of put one end through the, so I like divide it in half like this, and then I put it around my neck, and then I put the end through like that. And I love wearing it like that. And I actually then December, December 2019, I did the Dust of Snow wrap with my Advent calendar from a homespun house. And I wear that one the same way. And I love that too. And I almost think that I'm gonna maybe keep the tradition and just bind off and keep this a scarf. Because it'll be nice to wear like that. I mean, it's long enough for sure. And I chose not to do the what's the word for it? Provisional. I chose not to do the provisional cast on at the beginning because I didn't have the brain space at the time and I just didn't want to mess with it. I had a very short amount of time to cast on and I just did a long tail and thought, you know, I'll just seam it together when I'm finished. And now I think I'm just gonna wear it how it is. If I'm being honest, there's a tiny part of me that is doing it because I don't feel like seaming it together and I just want to be done and wear it while it's still a little chilly. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So, yeah. But anyway, I am on the last color. Like I said, I'm about halfway through the garter section. I have another like 5 garter ridges left to go, and then the eyelet. There's like an eyelet section that comes at the end of the garter section. And did I say this was the Jane Austen themed advent? I don't know if I did, but these are all Jane Austen colors from 3 different books. It started with Emma, so I know I'm just like flinging this around willy-nilly, but it started with Emma. Then it went into like right around here-ish, I think. It went into Sense and Sensibility. And then I think about here. Yes, I think about here it changed into Pride and Prejudice. Yay. I love them. The colors, I should say. I love all the colors. This last one that I'm doing is, I should look up the colorway. Is it Dance at, nope. The second to last one is Mr. Darcy. I knew that. The Netherfield Ball. Okay, so I knew it was like a dance of some sort. But yeah, so this last one is Netherfield Ball. This one that I did was Mr. Darcy, and this one was Pemberley, and oh, this one was Mr. Bingley, I think. Yes. Oh, and the one before that was Mr. Wickham. I think this was Lizzie Bennet. Oh no, this was the Mr. and Mrs. Collins. This is Lizzie Bennet. This is Jane Bennet. And this is the Miss Bennets. Yes, I can't believe I remembered that. I kind of remember that because I really, really looked hard at all these colors when they released full skeins of them on their website. They're releasing them book by book now. So they did Pride and Prejudice first back in January, like January into February, and then they released Emma. Those are, I think, already closed. I think they closed this weekend. And then I'm guessing that next they're going to be releasing Sense and Sensibility. So when the Pride and Prejudice ones went up, I really studied those colorways hard. You'll see I purchased a few of them. So I remember all of the colors of that. I'm not so good on the other ones. I could probably do Emma because, again, I looked at those a lot on their website. I didn't end up purchasing any Emma yarn. I just couldn't because I did some damage the month before. But when Sense and Sensibility comes out, I'm really tempted to do that, to get some. Okay, let's move on before I completely lose steam here. So I'm almost done with that and I'm so excited. My next work in progress is in my Indie Untangled Everywhere tote bag. I'm really excited because I am participating in Indie Untangled Across the Pond in a couple of weeks. They're doing smaller shows in addition to the large show at the end of the year, well, in October, kind of the end of the year. And I so enjoyed participating in this one back in October 2020 that I wanted to sign up and join the other ones. So the first one is Indie Untangled Across the Pond, and it's focusing on dyers and makers that do not live in the US, and I think that's really cool, and I'm really excited to see, I don't know, to sort of meet some new makers and join some talks and join knit-alongs. I know that Amy from Stranded, the Stranded podcast, and Stranded Dye Works is doing like a tea. So it's basically just like a Zoom get together, and I think they're just calling it like tea with Amy, which is fun. But yeah, so that's in my Indie Untangled Everywhere bag. And this is a sweater for my husband. I'm so excited. So it's getting there. I have the top done, I split for the sleeves, and I have that much done so far of the body. I am so happy to be finally knitting a sweater for him because he has been wanting a sweater forever. And when we were first dating, you know, he mentioned he would love a sweater someday, and I kind of jokingly, kind of seriously said, well, I couldn't knit him a sweater until we were married because the curse of the boyfriend sweater, of course. And then we got married, and then he kept asking me for a sweater. I had a couple sweaters quantities that I sort of designated for him. One was this green, another one was like a burgundy, and he actually has told me recently that he doesn't know if he would wear the burgundy, and it's more of actually looking back at it, it's like a purpley red. And he said it leaned too much to the purple for him. So I'm going to use that for me. I'm actually really excited because I wanted to make myself like a woolly, warm, like cardigan or something to just kind of snuggle in, bundle up in. I wanted to knit one before I had my baby, and that was going to be kind of my like nursing sweater and stuff, but I never got around to it, which that's okay. But anyway, he loved the green. He loved this green. So that's what we're going with. And I'm not sure if I ever showed this off. I do think I did at one point. But this is the yarn that I had started a blanket for my sister and her husband back when they got married, and they have almost been together for 10 years. I got a few feet of the blanket done. It was a lot of work. I knit through about half the yarn I had, and I only had like 3 feet of this blanket done, maybe not even. And I quickly realized it was not practical. I was gonna have to order way more yarn. The dye lots wouldn't match because it had been like years since I had knit on this, and it was just never gonna get done. So I ripped it all out last summer. I felt so good. I wound all the yarn back into cakes. You can see it's a little kind of squiggly because this was knit up for 7 years, 8 years. Oh my gosh. And yeah, I cast on for him. So here's another, this one I don't think was knit. This was just one of the cakes I had waiting to go into the blanket. So this is Cascade 220. I don't know what color it is, but it's like this hunter green, and it has like a fleck of lighter green, almost like a yellowish green if you look really hard at it. And he's gonna wear this probably as like an outer layer when he's outside in the woods. I'm not knitting it with the expectation that he's gonna be wearing this like to work or something. This is, you know, a non-superwash wool. It's not merino wool. It's not gonna be next to skin. It's soft, it's very nice, but it's not like a merino cashmere or a, you know, even 100% merino that I would gladly wear next to my skin. And the pattern that I'm doing, let me just find it here in the book, is the Boatyard. Yes, the Boatyard Pullover by Hannah Fettig. I'm just going to show you a picture without showing you the pattern. So it is a beautiful moss stitch. You probably saw the texture when I showed you my work in progress, but it's a nice top-down raglan style moss stitch sweater, and it is in the texture book. And this is a sweater that I've been wanting to knit since I got this book. I'm pretty sure I even got this book before I met Seaver, before I met my husband. When was it published? Not that it really matters, but I knew I always wanted it for myself, and it is kind of a unisex. So yeah, I'm really happy that I can make that for him. He liked the look of it. I did give him other options, but he liked that one the best. And the moss stitch isn't actually that bad. I was worried that doing a whole garment in like knit one purl one was going to get really old really fast, but the top of it has actually gone really quickly. I did have to sort of modify it a bit because I did not check my gauge. Oops. I finished increasing the amount that she wanted me to, and I checked to see how many inches I had, and I was about 1.5 inches away from where I should have been. So then I checked my gauge after doing all that work, which isn't the order you should do it in. I should have knit a gauge swatch, and my gauge was small. I had about 21 stitches to 4 inches, and I should have had 18 stitches to 4 inches. So I had to kind of decide what I was going to do. There was no way I was going to rip all of that out. So I kept increasing and I kept knitting. Because obviously if I was too short, I was measuring from the top of the cast on, the yoke, to where I was going to split for the sleeves, and it was too short. So I knew I'd also probably be too tight around here as well. So I increased more stitches, I knit a little bit farther, and I actually tried it on him. So I put another cable, the Addy, so I'm knitting these on Addy Rockets, the interchangeable set, and with those you can add another cable on. There's like a little metal thing that you add to the end of one cable and you can attach another one. So I added another cable. I was able to spread out the stitches and actually like put it over him and laid it on his shoulders. I saw like how far, you know, he wanted it to where the arm would, the sleeve would start, and if it was going to be enough room for him across the shoulders, and it seemed to be good. And he preferred, I did actually after that increase another round or two because he would prefer it to be big rather than small because he will be wearing a shirt underneath it. So yeah, so I think it'll be okay. I did go ahead and split for sleeves then. Oh, this talking is really hard. And I haven't knit on this too much lately because I've been wanting to get my advent done and the mittens done. And once I get those completed, I will have more time to spend on his sweater, which I'm very excited about. So that's really the only, I think that's it for projects I've been working on. I did knit one little square on my cozy memory blanket, which is behind me for some color. Yeah, this little guy over here is the only one I knit. I'm not gonna take it off because it's just not worth it. But that's one of my favorite yarns from Hue Loco. I knit a pair of socks for myself out of it, and I knit Hudson a pair of booties. I knit those before we knew if it was a boy or a girl, because this is kind of a neutral. It's got like creams and browns and like light blue. So it's pretty neutral. And he actually never got to wear those because I don't know if I didn't make the sole big enough, but like it didn't really fit on his foot very well. It was kind of weird. They're super cute, and I'm keeping them for, you know, decoration and for memories because it's the first thing I ever knit for the baby, and we did our announcement that way. We had the little booties and it was super cute, but yeah, he never actually wore them. Sadness. But anyway, that doesn't matter. Yeah, but that's the yarn. So I have a little memory of that in there. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some yarn I have received, and this is yarn I got from the last episode on. So end of January, February, beginning of March. The first thing I got was a yarn from the yarn again. Sorry. This was from the Bumblebee Acres Hogwarts Magical Makers, something. Oh my gosh, I can't believe Order of Magical Makers is right on, it's right on the information sheet. The Hogwarts Order of Magical Makers. And they do a monthly club. It is a Harry Potter themed club on the base of your choice, and it's a mystery. You just know it's Harry Potter themed. So I signed up for the January one, which shipped out, I got it like mid-February or beginning of February, I think. And this is the yarn I got. Oops. Oh my gosh, look how bright that green is. It's like glowing. So I chose to get it on their Coquette sock base, which is 75% American Cordale, 25% nylon. And I've knit socks out of this. I've knit a cowl out of this. I like how woolly it is. I really enjoy the merino blends, but there's something about this wooliness that sometimes it's so squishy. I just want to like squish it. So this is Madame Puddlefoot's Tea Shop. Isn't that just perfect? And there's a little pin that says Madame Puddlefoot's Tea Shop. And this was the inspiration photo. I kept this because I just love seeing like where they got the idea and how it was interpreted on the yarn. And I think that's really cool to see. So I think this is awesome, thinking about the French patisserie they talk about in the window and the little pinafore cakes and things like that. I think that's just super fun. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna make. Probably socks. I don't wear a lot of pink, and this isn't necessarily a color that I would wear next to my face, but I think it would make the most fun socks with this. Like, so this is probably gonna micro stripe a little bit with, I mean, there's like specks of it throughout, so it's gonna kind of like shift a little bit, but this is such a big hunk of color in one spot that it's gonna like yeah, it's gonna have like a thread of this bright green in there, which I think is awesome. It's gonna make the coolest socks. So yeah, that might be fun to do for Valentine's next year. Like cast them on in February and have it be like a Valentine's themed knit. That'd be kind of fun. So that was my club. I really want to join again. I did it kind of on a whim because I felt like treating myself. It was after Christmas. I had a little bit of Christmas money and I had never joined their mystery club, and I love their fandom yarns are just absolutely fantastic. And I have always wanted to join that club. So I treated myself in January, and yeah, I love it. So I hope to join again. Speaking of Bumblebee, let's just show these as well. I mentioned that I shopped their Jane Austen Pride and Prejudice update, which I believe was also in January, I think, and I got them like mid-February. I have one more coming because I caved when they were closing those pre-orders. I panicked. I panic shopped, and I got another skein of I got a skein of the Miss Bennet's because I think I just knit that into my advent and I loved it. And I panic shopped because I didn't know when I was going to get it again. So I ordered a skein of that. But I got 2 skeins of Mr. Bingley on their merino, 100% merino DK. I absolutely love that. And my goal for this yarn is to knit a sweater for Hudson. So 2 skeins of DK should be plenty to knit like I'll probably have to knit like a 2-year size, maybe for next, probably for next winter, even though he'll only be a year in September. I'm thinking he'll be in like a 2T size by then. I love this yarn. It's so soft too. And then I bought a skein of, so this is kind of going out of my comfort zone in a way because I usually buy fingering weight. I just order a skein of fingering weight because I know I can do something with it. A shawl, a pair of socks, a cowl, but I decided to get the DK for Hudson, and then I really just wanted to try a new base. So I got their McGonagall Tweed, right? Yeah, McGonagall Tweed DK, which is 85% merino and 15% net. And this is Mr. Darcy, which is so earthy and beautiful. I absolutely love those like ochre, greenish ochre, mossy colors. Yeah, I think I want to knit something for Seaver in this, but I'm not 100% sure. He did see it when I got it and he really liked it, so I think maybe a hat or something would be really cool in that. But yeah, I just felt like trying new bases. It's kind of fun sometimes when you always kind of go to the same thing over and over again. You end up having a ton of that in your stash, which is awesome. I primarily knit with fingering weight, but once in a while you kind of want to shake it up and just, I don't know, stock your stash with something a little bit different. So I'm really excited about those. Another thing I got is a gradient cake from Knit Circus. Like I said, I work for them, I work there, and I don't buy yarn as much as I want to buy yarn because being around all that yarn all day, oh my gosh, it's torture. But I did buy this one because it's being discontinued, and I really like these colors. I know not everybody likes, you know, orangey and blue and browns kind of together, but I really, really do. And this is called Are We There Yet? It's on our Greatest of Ease base, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon, and it's a fingering weight as well. There's 200 yards in this cake. And yeah, it was on sale. There was only a couple left, and I just thought, might as well. I don't know, it reminds me of summer, you know, like blue skies, and you've got like the warm, I don't know, it kind of makes me think of like blue sky with a cornfield in the fall time, like in front of it, like when the corn gets all like brown and crispy before they harvest. It's kind of what it reminds me of. I really like it. Okay, I'm not quite done yet. This is like 2.5 months or something, 2 months. So I was so lucky to participate in the Woolberry Cozy Cabin Retreat, I think it was called. It was a virtual retreat that happened on February 6th, like a month ago today, crazy. And it was a lot of fun. It was so cold that day. Seaver was gonna take our son to his parents' house, but it was so cold that we didn't think that we should take Hudson in the car. I mean, we were talking like negative 15 degrees without the wind chill. It was very cold that weekend, and we just didn't want to risk having him in the car if there was a breakdown or anything like that. He's just so young. So she came and babysat him at our house, at our apartment, and I did my best to sequester myself and just like enjoy my time at this retreat. So I was gonna have like the whole apartment to myself and be so relaxed and zen and all that stuff, but that's okay. We rolled with it. I still got a chance to participate. And with that, there's a lot of fun classes. There's a watercolor class, there was a embroidery class, and it was really fun to try new things. I used to paint a lot. I did art class all through college, or all through high school, and then I continued to like draw and paint kind of for fun on the side in college, and then just got away from it because time, life, and then knitting kind of took all of my creative, like I just so focused on knitting and kind of yarn dyeing and stuff like that, that all my other artsy creative stuff sort of got put on the back burner. But it was really fun to get back to painting and try that again, and I actually would love to do it more. We just don't have the room right now for me to get like a lot of supplies, and then also with a baby, it's just, yeah, to like bring all that out and like put it on we just have like a kitchen table and a counter, so I really don't have a space to do it. But if I had like a craft room or something, or I don't know, a downstairs, I don't know if when we get a house, if we will have a downstairs area or something that I can sort of set up my crafty stuff in, I would love to kind of have that, so I could go dabble in that every so often. But with that retreat, I should say I won a giveaway that was a ticket for the retreat. So yes, so thank you, Bethany from Woolberry. It was so fun. But I got a skein of Bethany's Berry Cashmere Aran in the flannel colorway, and this is 80% superwash merino and 10% nylon and 10% cashmere. Yes, 181 yards. So this is a really beautiful skein of yarn. I already caked it up. I was gonna start on a project that weekend. There was like a pattern that came with it too. I can't remember the pattern name, but with the craziness of having my mother-in-law here and not being able to have the whole day and stuff like that, I just didn't have time to cast on a new project, which is probably a good thing because I really wanted to finish the projects I already had on the needles, and I have been able to do that. So I'll use that for something eventually. But yeah, so the last thing I will show you, this just came 2 weeks ago. Oh no, it's stuck on the staple. There we go. This was a club from a homespun house, her Little House Club, I guess. She's been doing all of the Little House books, and I have ordered all of them. I've only used the Little House in the Big Woods so far. I knit a flax light sweater for Hudson, which is so adorable and fits him so well. I need to put him in that a couple more times before it gets really, really warm. And then he'll outgrow it, of course, after that. And I have the others that are sort of waiting. I really am wishing to cast on with those because I'm reading the books out loud to Hudson right now. And of course, he's not super aware of them, but he does listen. Reading out loud, no matter what it is really great for babies. It helps their language development because they can hear the cadence of your voice, and it's so much easier to read, you know, long stretches of a chapter book that I really love. I do read him baby books, of course, too, and picture books, but, you know, trying to come up with things to talk to a baby about for like really, really long stretches is kind of difficult because you're having a one-way conversation, of course. And just being able to like read a few chapters to him while he's playing on the floor, it's my favorite part of the day. And we read about 2 to 3 chapters every day, and he seems to really like it. Like I said, he listens, he looks at me, he can see my mouth moving, which is really important for development. He can hear my voice, and I show him the pages every so often so he can see me reading, and it's just a win-win-win. But anyway, I'm really loving going back and reading these books again as an adult. I mean, I've read them throughout my entire life. I don't know how many times I've read through them, but especially now with Hudson, and I'm wishing to cast on with my other Little House yarn. But the Shores of Silver Lake yarn came recently, and this is it. This is a really, really fun yarn. It's her merino fingering, which is 100% superwash merino, 470 yards. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this. I probably won't make socks. It's very, very soft, and without the nylon content, I'm thinking that it would wear through pretty quick. I don't know. So I might do a cowl, or I could even do like a hat. I think it would be really pretty. I don't know. But we'll see. I love it. I love the greens and blues with just that splash of pink. And then with it, I've been choosing to get the Progress Keeper that comes with them. And this is the Progress Keeper for this 4th club. So I have ordered the 5th one, which is the Long Winter. And after that, I guess, I'm hoping she does all of them. After the Long Winter, there's Little Town on the Prairie, then These Happy Golden Years, and then the First 4 Years. So there's 3 more books after the Long Winter, and I really want a complete set, so I will probably order all of them. It's just really fun to have that coming. You know, it'll probably be another maybe month before I get it, but just knowing that it's on its way, kind of, or it's being made, and someday I'll get a surprise in the mail. It's really exciting. So yeah, I think that's about it of the yarn and the making and all of the things I've been working on. I'm so glad I got a chance to record, even if I'm a little out of practice and I may have seemed a little gosh, I don't even know. My wavelengths in my brain probably are disrupted with thinking of the baby and making sure I'm not talking too loud. It's also kind of hurting my throat a little bit, talking at like a lower volume. So we're just gonna I don't know how often I will be able to record. I would love to be able to record every other week. That doesn't seem like it's gonna happen, so I'm gonna shoot for once a month. Really hoping that happens. But yeah, now that I know he didn't wake up at all, look at him. He's still sleeping soundly. There's part of me that thinks maybe I could try when he's napping, but of course then there's a million other things to do before he wakes up again, so it's just a balancing act, a juggling act. So I appreciate everybody being patient, coming back and watching when I do post, and getting in touch. You can post a comment below the video, you can message me on Instagram, or go follow me, comment on anything I post. Again, I'm trying to be better about that too. Time just flies by, and I realize that I haven't posted in a week. So yeah, I'm gonna be more diligent. I do more to my stories. I probably post a story almost every day. So if you just sort of want a quick glimpse on what I'm making, or sometimes I'll post little videos of Hudson and I, or us taking a walk or something like that. I have most of those on my stories. You can find me on Ravelry and message me there as well. That's totally cool. But I am most active on Instagram. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I hope to see you again very, very soon. In the meantime, do things that make your heart happy, be kind to one another, and I will